Let me say something uncomfortable. If you think you've figured out sales, you're probably in trouble. Because this video is about the learning and growth chapter of ethical selling. And this is where we talk about professionalism. Because ethical selling isn't a tactic, it's a discipline. And discipline requires growth. There's a well-known psychological concept called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. In simple terms, the less we know, the more confident we tend to feel. Early success creates inflated certainty. Close a few deals, you hit a few targets, you learn a few scripts. Suddenly, you think you've mastered it. That's what some people call the peak of Mount Stupid. High confidence, low awareness. It's a dangerous combination. Sales is particularly vulnerable to overconfidence because performance is visible. You hit the number, you're praised. You don't, you're pressured. But hitting the number doesn't always mean you're good. It might mean good timing, strong brand, favourable market, existing relationships. True skill is harder to measure. That's why learning matters. Let's contrast two mindsets. Fixed mindset says, I'm a natural salesperson. I've always been good at this. I don't need training. Growth mindset says, what am I missing? Where am I uncomfortable? What feedback am I avoiding? Ethical selling requires growth mindset because empathy can improve, listening can improve, negotiation discipline can improve, transparency under pressure can improve. If you stop improving, standard slide. There's something deeper here. When we stop learning, we revert to shortcuts. We rely on habit. We defend our approach. We resist feedback. That's where ethical erosion begins. Not dramatically, subtly. A slightly glossed over detail here. A slightly pressure closed there. A slightly selective explanation. Without reflection, those standards drift. Professionals guard against drift. Learning in sales isn't just attending a course. It means reviewing lost deals honestly, asking for customer feedback, recording and analysing conversations, studying negotiation outcomes, challenging your assumptions. It means inviting discomfort because discomfort reveals blind spots. Blind spots are where growth lives. Let me be direct. If you dismiss feedback, if you blame customers for lost deals, if you assume objectives are just procurement tactics, you might be at that peak of Mount Stupid. High confidence, low curiosity. That's not professional. Professionals in any discipline, medicine, law, engineering, don't say, I've been doing this for years, I'm so done learning. They refine, they recalibrate, they study mistakes, they adapt. So why should sales be different? If we want sales to be recognised as a profession, we must behave like professionals, and professionals grow. Here's something practical. After your next significant deal, won or lost, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What did I assume that turned out to be wrong? 2. Where did I feel defensive? 3. What would I do differently with perfect hindsight? Write it down. Because improvement that stays in your head fades. Improvement documented becomes discipline. Ethical selling isn't about being morally superior, it's about being professionally serious. Professional serious means you never really arrive, but you evolve. Because the market changes, buyers change, technology changes. If you don't grow, you fall behind. This has been about the learning and growth chapter of ethical selling. So, empathy sharpens understanding, transparency builds trust, value aligns direction, negotiation protects balance, partnership revolves and elevates relationship, but growth protects the standard. If you want to go deeper into the framework, raise your own professional bar. The book lays it out clearly. Link below. If you want to publicly demonstrate your commitment to ongoing ethical practice, you can join the Institute of Ethical Selling and earn your CertiKey badge. Link also below. If you think you've arrived, you've probably stopped climbing.